Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hey, what is up guys? Horror Nights Fan 13 here, and today I'm doing an updated lineup speculation for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood 2017. But before I get into this video, please, as always, show your support, like the video if you like it, comment what you think about this lineup, and subscribe if you want to keep up with further updating this season. Also, follow social media at HHNFan13 on Twitter and at Horror Nights Fan 13 on Instagram. Both of those I'll give you a follow back on, just as a thank you for your support of my channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so this year's lineup actually looks pretty good, if this is 100% correct. For those unfamiliar with my lineup speculations, I usually go through in a few different segments. So the first segment is I talk about the code-named mazes, I give the code names, I give the location, and I give what either the confirmed property is or the speculated property. Then I move on to blind speculation mazes. Blind speculation mazes are mazes that are happening, however, that don't have code names that are released to the public. There are 3 of those this year. Then I move on to the Walking Dead attraction. You know, that's just there. It's just going to be a brief mention. Then I'll talk about, further speculation as to why I think each one of the 5 mazes that have not been announced yet are actually coming. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, the first codename released for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood was codename Lemonade. This is in the Backlot From Dusk Till Dawn venue, and it is confirmed to be American Horror Story Roanoke. This maze is only based off of Roanoke, the season 6 of American Horror Story. Moving on. The next codename number 2, is codename Charles. This is in the Revenge of the Mummy extended queue, same venue as The Exorcist last year. This maze is confirmed to be The Shining, the Stanley Kubrick 1980 horror masterpiece. 100% confirmed that is where it'll be. And I can also confirm that the facade of the maze and the finale of the maze are both the hedge maze. So, got that to look forward to. Now let's get into the actual speculation of the lineup. So, codename Writer's Block in the Jurassic Park extended queue, Insidious Chapter 4. If you haven't checked out my Writer's Block speculation video, go and check that out because that gives you my full connection as to why I think Insidious Chapter 4 is coming. Moving on, codename number 4, this is a replacement for codename The Big Chill. In the Waterworld queue, this is called All Night Die-In. I'm not sure if that's what exactly it's called. I'm just calling it that right now just for a naming purpose. So, if you haven't watched my Uber fan speculation video, check that out because that'll tell you what I think All Night Die-In is, but I'll give you a brief synopsis of it. It's basically a compilation maze of the Titans of Terror, Freddy, Jason, Michael, and Leatherface, all together in one maze. So yeah, that's that. Moving on from codenames. Some of you may be a little confused right now. Why didn't I bring up The Big Chill? So let's talk about what happened with The Big Chill. The Big Chill was The Conjuring. That is, not confirmed by anyone on the creative team, but confirmed by people with inside sources and a bunch of other stuff. So, The Conjuring had definitely been coming this year until relatively recently, Universal decided to drop The Conjuring from the lineup because there was a massive lawsuit going on for The Conjuring. Some guy with exclusive rights to the Warren's life is suing Warner Brothers for like either $300 or $600 million. Huge amount of money. Universal didn't want to deal with that, so they just dropped the property. And this was confirmed that one of the mazes has been scrapped from the lineup. I asked John on Twitter after the Roanoke announcement, so for speculation purposes, which code names still apply? Would Writer's Block still apply? Would Uber or would Big Chill still apply? And he said Big Chill no longer applies, which practically confirms that Conjuring is gone from the lineup. Hey, sorry about that. I heard some weird noises going on outside of my window. I was getting a little paranoid. I haven't talked about this on camera. It's not something I really need to talk about, not something I care about, but my house has been broken into before, and they did come in through my windows, so that was very scary for me, and whenever I hear, anything going on over there, I get a little paranoid, so I just had to go over and check out and see what was going on there. So, where I left off was Uberfan replacing the Big Chill, yeah, so John said on Twitter that the Big Chill no longer applies. This means the Conjuring is out, and Uberfan, the replacement maze, is in. Now you may be thinking, Blake, didn't John say that he wrote 2 extra maze treatments? Yes, he did write 2 extra maze treatments. Later on that was confirmed that one of those was changing American Horror Story from being Asylum, Coven, and Roanoke to solely being Roanoke. And then the next one is Uberfan, the replacement for the Big Chill, the Conjuring. Let's move on to blind speculation mazes. This time we're actually moving on to blind speculation mazes. Alright, in the Parisian Courtyard, this is one of the more interesting mazes. There are 2 pretty interesting mazes this year, one being All Night Die-In, the other one being the Blumhouse of Horrors. I don't know if that's the confirmed name. It's kind of like with All Night Die-In, I'm just kind of giving it a name to have a name for all intents and purposes. So, Blumhouse of Horrors, mostly talked about as the Blumhouse mashup. So, this maze will contain a lot of Blumhouse properties that have maze material in them, but not enough to where they are able to be a full-out maze. So, I'm talking about a few properties that have already been confirmed in specific, meaning the very successful 2017 Get Out. I'm talking about The Purge, I'm talking about Ouija, I'm talking about Sinister, and probably a few other Blumhouse horror properties that will be in the maze. I don't think we're going to be seeing The Tooth Fairy. If you don't know, The Tooth Fairy is the one with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That is a Blumhouse movie, which is very strange. But, you know, it's a Blumhouse movie, so I don't think we'll be seeing The Rock in the Blumhouse of Horrors. Moving on to the Metro sets, we have Jigsaw. Now, this is also known as Saw, Saw Legacy. It's been speculated as a bunch of things, but we now know that the official title for this 8th Saw film is called Jigsaw. It's pretty much confirmed that Saw is going to be coming back. I mean, Saw was a huge hit when it was at the event in 2010. Why not bring it back, you know? I mean, everyone loves Saw, I guess. I don't really. But, you know, some people do. So yeah, Jigsaw, it's going to be based off of the upcoming Jigsaw movie, the 8th Saw movie, coming out October 27th of 2017. So it'll be out by the end of the run, but you don't really need to see Saw to understand what's going on in the maze. People are playing games that they may die from. The end. Our last Halloween Horror Nights exclusive maze, outside of Soundstage 747. We won't be going inside of 747 for quite a long time, as that's being used by the Mindy Project currently, but outside, and the construction is already up for it, is Ash vs. Evil Dead. There's been a lot of talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead. Last week, we were expecting the announcement for Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm going to say exactly 1 week ago, like later on this evening, John would have tweeted out, "By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes." And then the next day said, "Sorry about that. No announcement. I jinxed it." You know, John jinxed the announcement last Wednesday. Nothing's happening. So, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I am expecting this to be announced very soon. I've actually heard that it will be announced before Wednesday, by Wednesday, so either later on today, sometime tomorrow, or actually Wednesday. I'm shooting this on a Monday, so dates may be a little off when you're actually seeing this, but yeah. Ash vs. Evil Dead. There's been a lot of talk over what this actually could be. A lot of inside sources have said that Ash vs. Evil Dead will be titled Ash vs. Evil Dead. However, it will actually be based on the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn movies, not including Army of Darkness. We don't need to go for Army of Darkness. While that movie is absolutely great, just in a cheesy sense, there's no maze material. The original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, though, they have a lot of maze material, and I believe they would be for successful mazes. However, last week people started speculating that, you know, Stars and Renaissance Productions weren't actually very happy with that, so they said, "Hey, we see what you're trying to do. You're trying to pull a Scream on us." If you don't know what Scream is, Orlando, for their 25th anniversary, was supposed to have a house based on the movie Scream, but they had actually agreed with the rights holder, Dimension, to do the show, and the design team went ahead and did the movie. And when the production team went to go and view like their show maze, they saw that it was the movie and they pulled it, and it was replaced by The Purge. Ash vs. Evil Dead, luckily there is no word of it being pulled. It is still very much happening. However, I'm pretty sure it's going to be based on the TV show now. I have not binge watched the TV show yet. I just finished my binge watch of Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, so I'm all prepared and all ready to binge watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. But I do think if it is in the tone of the original Evil Dead movies, I think it's going to be another delve into horror comedy mazes for John. This seems pretty dark comedy, so, you know, I think John is giving it another take. Hopefully this is a redeemer for This Is the End from 2015, because that maze was absolutely terrible. Probably the worst maze that has ever been featured at Halloween Horror Nights. You combine 3D with a movie that has no place at Halloween Horror Nights and you just get a terrible maze. It could have been good. It could have been funny. I really think it could have been funny. And there are some scenes that actually were pulled off very well. I have to say the exorcism was pulled off very well. The rapture was pulled off very well. Yeah, that's it. I would like to change the ending though. I wanted to go to heaven and be with the Backstreet Boys. That would probably have made it the best maze ever. And if it was not 3D. Who knows? This could be pretty good. As long as Ash vs. Evil Dead isn't 3D, which John did say no mazes are 3D this year, taking another break from that. Fantastic. So yeah, I think Ash vs. Evil Dead is going to be pretty good. Moving on, the Walking Dead attraction. Yep, it's our permanent attraction. It's been open for about a year now. I went through it 3 times on Saturday. It was pretty good. I actually got a few good scares in there, and it was, you know, it was good. Some of the actors are really good. They're good at standing still while I'm looking around, specifically in the Del Arno food truck area. I'm always looking in there for Lucille because people have said that Lucille is in that scene. So I'm always around there looking for Lucille, and then they'll just be standing still, and then out of my peripheral I'll just see him move, and then I jump. People have actually scared me in there, and it's pretty good. So yeah, that's all the lineup for this year. I think it's going to be really good. When the lineup is actually all 100% confirmed later on in August, I will give a full order of anticipation as well as full read over of everything going on with this lineup. So thank you all for watching. Please, as always, show your support, like the video if you like it, comment what you think about this lineup, and subscribe if you want to keep up with further updating. Follow social media at HChenFan13 on Twitter and at HorrorNightsFan13 on Instagram. Get a follow back on those just as a thank you for your support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.